Bonjour, Kinamagi Nene Ireland Indigenous, and welcome to this production of the Mind Math Network. Today's episode, Chapter 7, Lesson 2, Order of Operations. The essential question in Chapter 2 is how are patterns used to solve problems? And yesterday you noticed that we can write numerical expressions to represent those patterns, such as 5 plus 5 plus 4 plus 4. Let's begin by reviewing yesterday's assignment. Don't know why it wants to show that up there. And we looked in here, and we ended up with 3 plus 4 plus 3 plus 2 plus 4. And this is where it's always easier if you would have written 2, 3, 3, 4, 4, because when you get into here, it's a little bit easier. Over here is addition. We had 21 plus 18 plus 16 plus 18. You could write it just like that. Or you could use the commutative property and go 21 plus 18 plus 18 plus 16. Now, as a multiplication, we group the two 18s together, put it inside parentheses, so that we get to 36, and then add the 21 and the 16 to get to 73. Over here, you see the same kind of situation. We add them all across. But now we look and we see that we had 2 4s, 2 5s, and 1 6. 8 and 10 is 18, plus 6 is 24. The assignment today, we're really looking in PEMDAS, in the order of operations. And you're going to see that we have some additional pieces that we don't use on a frequent basis. We have our parentheses, and then you're going to have brackets, and brackets are, get to my annotation tool here. Brackets are these things. They're actually found usually to the right of the P on your keyboard. And then we have braces, and these are the braces here. Those are usually found right above your brackets, and they kind of resemble something like this. Really hard to draw with this tool, at least for me it is. Sorry. So as we do it, we go parentheses, brackets, braces. This would be considered a tougher problem, but I have faith in you. We'll be talking about those in here as well. And they do give you a hint, parentheses first, brackets second. The majority of the PEMDAS that you will do in 5th grade isn't so much based around brackets and braces, but the please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. Do the parentheses first, then the exponents, then multiplying and dividing from left to right, and then adding and subtracting. You see that we have a total of 6 problems. All right, you should have out page 487. That's the lesson 2, and it came in the most recent delivery. There is a vocab word that you're going to find on it. Order of operations is a set of rules to follow when more than one operation is used in an expression. See a lot of these on social media. Well, let's begin with my part. This part is not in your text. How could you prove that you need to follow the order of operations to evaluate the expressions? Well, I could write a problem like this. If I did it correctly, I'd have 4 plus 5 times 2. 4 plus 5 in parentheses times 2 is 18. However, if I don't follow it correctly, and let's say I go 4, or if I do the 5 plus 2 over here, that's 10 plus 4 is 14. It will be wrong. So you need to follow the exact order of PEMDAS. Hunter and Kim evaluated the expression 10 minus 5 plus 2 squared times 4. Show how Hunter and Kim found their answers. So I'm going to grab my annotation tool here. Let's look at Hunter, and let's think of PEMDAS. 10 minus 5 is 5, plus 2 squared is 4, times 4. In essence now, we have to do the multiplication first. So I'm going to put 5 plus 4 times 4 is 16, which equals 21. He clearly didn't do it this way because Kim's is the right answer. And let's go ahead and see what he did, if it shows me. Okay, so he did the 5 plus 4 plus 9. He put these two together, which was wrong. Kim was the correct way. He didn't follow PEMDAS. He went parentheses. He then did exponents, but then he moved left to right. Did the 5 plus 4 is 9, then times 4. You can't put adding and multiplication on the same level. They're not. Determine the order in which operations should be performed when simplifying expressions. Use the table. And we already talked about this. 1, parentheses. 2, exponents. 3, multiplying and dividing. 4, adding and subtracting. And Kim was right. All right, let's go get the book part ready. Oh, let's do this one first. Use parentheses to make the equation below true. So this would be a challenge because I have to figure out exactly where it goes. So let's say I start right here. Let's see what that would give me. Give me 10 plus 9 times 2. Nope. Let's try it here. 10 plus 15 is 25 minus 12. Nope. Oops. Where do you think it might be? Right here. No, it's not. Wait. Okay, it is. 15 minus 6 is 9, times 2 is 18, plus 10. It's a little quick on that part draw there. All right, let's go into the math portion here, the investigating the math. And this is found on page 487, example basic. At the bottom of your page, it does give you a reminder of the order of operations. You really should keep that. Write that down in another spot so you have it available to you. Example basic. And you see the highlighted word with the definition of order of operations. Table shows the number of calories burned in 1 minute for 2 different activities. Nathan swims for 4 minutes and then runs for 8 minutes. How many calories has Nathan burned in all? So I have 4 minutes of swimming, so 4 times 12, plus 8 minutes of running, so 8 times 10. I'm just going to type it in for me. It's small print. 12 times 4 is 48. So I put those two together. Plus 10 times 8 is 80. 48 plus 80 is 128. 128 calories. If I went 12 times 14, it's going to give me a different answer. And then times 8, it would be a big mess. These are grouped together and these are grouped together. They're 2 different activities. They're 2 different operations. That's why we multiply first and then add. Let's go ahead and write those numbers in. All right, let's go ahead and move on to the next slide. Example niche. And you can see that we have the braces and brackets. And I think for today, a lot of what they'll do is kind of give you tips on when to use them. So write the expression, and that's really just taking what was there. 20 minus, we can probably get a 4, a 10, and a 2. Parentheses go first, divide 10 by 2 because that's parentheses, and that's a 5. Now I go inside the brackets. 4 plus 5 is 9. 9 and 4 is 13. 20 minus 13 is 7. So this whole thing is 7. If someplace you need to write this down, parentheses, brackets, braces, it wouldn't be a bad idea to put it on a sticky note to get through today's work. That is probably where you'll find your level of frustration, because we're pretty used to the PEMDAS without the brackets and braces, but we use brackets and braces so seldomly that it wouldn't surprise me to just not be comfortable with it. Go ahead and write what I have there, and then we'll move forward. Go ahead and clear the drawing. See our answer there. Guided practice. We're going to talk our way through this one. I'll ask a bunch of rhetorical questions because you can't answer me through the screen. I don't want you to text me with each one. I'm going to evaluate 28 plus 2 times 4 squared divided by 8. So I'm going to write the expression, and right now that's just copying the problem down. So remember, parentheses, brackets, braces. So I'm going to go, I look here, inside of my bracket, or inside of my parentheses, I do have an exponent, which I want to break that out, and 4 squared is 4 times 4, which is 16. Now I go in my parentheses, 2 times 16 is 32. Now out to my brackets, 32 divided by 8 is 4. 28 plus 4 is 32. So my answer is 32. But let's see where we had it. Sorry, I went a little faster on that one than I intended to. Got excited about PEMDAS. Yeah. But I'm going to use the independent practice one after we talk math to be the guided practice. Go ahead and make sure this is all written in. Be about 5 or 10 seconds. All right, I'm going to go ahead and clear these drawings now. And of course, we do have to cover the talk math. See that we did all right there. Why is it important to follow the order of operations when evaluating 15 plus 3 times 4? Because 3 times 4 is 12, 15 plus 12 is 27. If I went this way, 15 plus 3 is 18, times 4 is 72. Big difference. All right, so let's treat number 2 as our guided practice. And we'll begin with parentheses. What's 92 minus 18? The answer is 74. So now we want to go 5 times 74. 5 times 70 is 350. So it'll be 370. So I went 5 times 7, which is 35, plus 0 is 350. Plus 5 times 4 is 20. That's how I got it. All right, I want you to go ahead and try number 3. I'm going to clear that drawing. Give you about 30 more seconds on number 3. All right, let's look at it. Grab the annotation tool. We start here in the parentheses. So I'm just going to write my 12 plus. That is 4 squared is 4 times 4, so 16 minus 11. So now I can just go left to right because it's adding and subtracting. 12 and 16 is 38. 28. Minus 11 is 17. All right, I want you to try. Let's do number 4 together as another guided practice. And then I'm going to assign you to have a few practice. So we start out here in our parentheses. So I get 27, because 9 times 3, plus 3. So now we go to the bracket. That is a 30. Over here, we had 15 minus 5. Gives me 10. And what's 10 times 30? Well, 1 times 3 is 3, and there are 2 zeros. We get a 300. So some of these can be easier to solve than they look. And I understand brackets and braces. You just kind of work out. Here's where it's in my parentheses. Here's what's in my brackets. Here's the other parenthesis. And now I bring it all together. So have you practice a couple? See that we did okay on the answers. I'd like you to do numbers 7 and 8. So do 7 and 8, and then we'll come back and check it out. You may pause the video now. Welcome back. Let's see how you did. First on number 7, you should have answered with 160. Because 3 times 30 is 90. 7 times 10 is 70. 70 plus 90, 160. Over here, we start in parentheses. We get 3. And then we go inside the bracket. And the bracket here is actually 1 times 3, which stays at 3. Then we go out to the brace, 3 times 3, which is 9. Over here, I have 2 squared, which is 4. 4 plus 9 is 13. So for all that writing, remember you go, here's part 1, here is part 2, and then here is part 3. Let's go ahead and do numbers 10 and 11. Come back and see how you did. Go ahead and pause the video now. Welcome back. Let's see how you did. On this one, 3 squared is 9, plus 3 times 5 is 15. No, that's 27. My fault. 27 plus 15 is 42. Because 3 cubed, I wrote it as 3 squared in my rush, but it is 3 cubed, unlike the one over here. That means 3 times 3 is 9, times 3 is 27. All right, over here we had Going down, I'm going to use underneath here. We had 3 squared, which is 9 times 4 is 36, minus 30, which is 6. 12 minus 6 is 6. All right, let's go ahead and remind you of the assignment. Do keep this evaluation or homework helper here when you're evaluating. Follow the directions, use these as hints, and then complete it. You have multiple ways of turning this in. If you're in class, you should put it in the bin. If you are at home, you could, and you're using just the paper, go ahead and put your name on top and bottom, and you can send it to me or via email or text if you scan or take a picture of it. Or you could send it at your next paper packet delivery, or you could write it down and then put the answers in the Google form. It's advised, even if you're just straight doing the Google form, that you do it on paper before you put it in the Google form, as it's much more difficult to write these steps out there. If you have any questions, please reach out to me during office hours. I'm always happy to help. Have a minute, Gijigad, Minwa Bamapi.